Hi guys, Squirrel here, and welcome to another IRL flying video. Now, in this video, you're going to hear me talking commentary-wise over the top, because the flight I do today is a beautiful weather. It was a lovely day for flying. I had 3 GoPro cameras set up, and as you can see on the screen there, I've got my new GoPro mounts, because in the last video, I had some problem with the camera shaking. So I bought some brand new mounts, and they're rock solid and stable. So I got some great wing footage, cockpit footage, and front footage. However, I didn't put a memory stick in my audio recording device, and so I couldn't record my in-cockpit commentary, which was really annoying when it happened. But I looked at the footage and I thought, oh man, this is so good, I really need to show you this flight. So today I'm solo in the plane again, and I'm flying up to a little town called Diss. Now Diss is in the heart of, I think it's Suffolk or Norfolk, I can't remember which one, I can't remember where the border is. But I'm routing south out of Earlscombe to a little town called Coggeshall, and it's just like 2 miles south of Earlscombe. What I then do is I then head east and go over to Harwich. Now Harwich you've seen me fly over before, however I've got a rather nice wing view this time, so you should get a really nice view of it. I then fly north up to Diss, and I turn around at Diss and follow the same route back. En route I will need to talk to some people. I will talk to Wattisham. Wattisham is a military runway, and it has an airspace around it, and because I need to clip through it, I get basic service for them, and I also need to request what's called MATS penetration. In other words, I need to fly through the controlled airspace, so I need to get permission to do so. Anyway, let's go on with the flight, and I'll talk about the actual routing, the distances, and what I'm doing in the cockpit. So I'm lined up here, I'm just lining up on runway 24, get permission to depart, and line up. Now the wind today is light and variable. Well, it's actually gusty and variable. I've learnt to pay more attention to the windsock, particularly during takeoff and landing. If you pay attention to the windsock, it should be coming up on the right. You'll see that there's a bit of a crosswind situation going on. As we come back, you'll see me land on the reciprocal runway. This is 24, we'll be landing back on 06. The wind shifts around quite a bit. And on the journey, the wind does move around, and I make some slight corrections to my course. So as I take off here, I'm basically holding 24 heading, or 240 heading, and I bring up my flaps at about 300 feet. And all the time, I'm just watching the engine, temperatures and pressures, making sure we've got good speed. And there come the flaps right now. What I'm aiming to do is get to around about 700 feet, and at that point, I'll start my sort of left turn to Coggeshall, which is on a heading of 179. It's only a 2 nautical mile distance though, so it will only take about 3 minutes to get to by my calculations. So at 700, I start to make a left turn. There it is, and we climb up to 1,000, turn off the fuel pump and continue our climb. We'll put a radio call in at this point to say we're climbing, setting overhead Coggeshall, just so anybody in the area knows exactly what I'm doing, because I've just taken off. They don't know, am I staying in the circuit or am I leaving? What am I doing? So I kind of tell them what they're doing at this point. And this is Earlscombe to the north, and that's Coggeshall to the south there. So you can see I fly south and make my left turn. Overhead now at Coggeshall, this is where what I need to do is get ready for my left turn. I want a heading of 079, and after I complete my turn, I'm going to get the aircraft settled down. We're going to look at the compass, the magnetic compass, which is just on the top of the dash in the middle, and just absolutely make sure that the DSI is lined up with the magnetic compass. So what I think is 079 is actually 079. That's very important. Now the next leg you've seen before, so we're going to basically just skip forward through this, and that's roughly what it looks like in accelerated time as you fly over Colchester and straight over 079 to Harwich, which is here. This is what Harwich looks like, and at that point, just on the peninsula tip, that's where I'll roughly make my turn. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we take our time check. Very important to keep time. So you want to, every time you make a turn, you want to set your time, set your ETA, calculate your next ETA to your next waypoint. Because if you do get lost, it's very important to know how long you've been heading in that direction, so you can get an idea of roughly where you might be, even if you've been blown slightly off course. So we head on a heading of 347. This leg up to Diss is about 26 nautical miles. So it takes about 18 minutes, something like that. Cross over a couple of rivers and punch over, and there's a wind turbine just before Diss, which I fly over, but unfortunately didn't really show on the GoPro footage on the front cam. It was a little bit too small. So here we are over Dis. It's quite a noticeable town. It actually has a train line running right through the middle of it, and I made that my waypoint. You should be able to see the train line there. It goes right through the town, so it makes it a good landmark to spot the town itself. You know you're definitely at Dis and not somewhere else. Because out here there's a lot of fields, and quite frankly, everything can kind of blur into looks like everything else kind of thing. Lots of little villages and towns to look at, but you can see the wing view here is pretty spectacular. So we turn overhead, again, set the compass, set the DSI, make a note of the time, and we want a heading of 167 back to Harwich, which is 18 nautical miles. Again, should take, 26 nautical miles, and should take about 18 minutes, something like that. Now, here is Harwich as we're making our right turn, and what you should see are two rivers. The near one on the left, though, is the River Stour, and the one in the distance is the River Orwell. And we are right over Harwich, and on the right of the camera there is Felixstowe. Felixstowe is quite big docks. But as you can see, it's a beautiful view, absolutely spectacular wing view footage. It really was a lovely day for flying. And now I need to head back towards Coggeshall. Coggeshall is on a heading of 259, but what I did at this point, I corrected my heading to 249 because I realised I was getting slightly blown from left to right. So I made a slight correction, and yeah, picked up Coggeshall, no problem. Get overhead in Coggeshall. At this point we've already talked to Earl's Cone, they know we're coming, we've got all the airfield information, and it's time to make our final approach. As you see, it's on 06. What I did was I flew overhead at the airfield and then turned right, looped back into the circuit. That's what you call a standard overhead join in the UK. They do things differently in the US, but this is in the UK, it's a standard overhead join. And as you can see, coming in, it's a cracking view on 06. You come right over the road there with all the trucks on it. There's a big industrial estate to the right. And 06 onto the grass runway. Pay attention to the windsock on the left. If you just make it out, you'll see that it's we've got a slight tailwind as we come in. They had trouble figuring out which was the best runway to put us on because the wind just kept shifting around constantly. So, you know, most of their crosswind, but just a very slight tailwind is not too bad. Any stronger, I might have gone around and tried again, just because sometimes with a variable wind like that, you come in and you get a tailwind, you loop around, and then suddenly it's not a tailwind. So anyway, landed on 06, and that was the journey, which took, I think it's about 100 nautical miles in total. So it took me about an hour, something like that, to do. It was a good flight. I'm getting much more confident flying cross-country on my own. Just a few days ago, I flew with my instructor up to Norwich International, which was a lovely flight. We went straight into Norwich International, controlled airspace, loads of helicopters going in. I even got a marshaller bring me in. And then, as I was leaving, I had to hold short for a 737 that was landing, a KLM 737 coming in. So it was real big boy stuff at that point. But in a week or two, I should be flying that solo, at which point I intend to take the cameras and see if we can get a recording of that, but it's a bit more difficult when I'm with the instructor. Anyway, so that was a short flight up to Dis via Harwich. Hope you enjoyed that one. There will be more flying videos to come. I've got a lot of stuff booked in, a lot more lessons booked in. I'm really trying hard now to get my PPL out the way so that I can then fly with freedom and with the cameras and, you know, show you some good stuff around the east coast of the UK. Anyway, please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of it. And if you are new, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you make sure you get all of my video alerts. Until the next one, guys, take care. Happy flying.